So that was a quote that we posted on our podcast. Would be on our Instagram page
Okay.
because we like to post things all the time.
All the
Little
time.
quotes, thought provoking, make you
Yes.
think about it. So I just want to ask both of you ladies, what came to mind when you read it?
I think for me, the hardest part about speaking the truth is not really for you, but more so for other people. Like, we're so inclined to want to, console others and make sure they're comfortable. So I think it comes with that, like the uncomfortability of other people, not necessarily for me. But yeah, just trying to console and coddle everybody else.
So you're saying that a lot of people are okay with their truth, but they're trying to make everyone else okay with it, and so they're more inclined to sugarcoat
Yeah,
it.
to sugarcoat. Yeah.
Sugarcoat it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Candice, what were you thinking when you first read the quote?
That a lot of people don't they don't share their truth, and so there's always this persona of who they are or what's going on. Sometimes because the truth is guarded, but then other times because people are just trying to be deceitful.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I thought about.
Yeah, so I was thinking along the lines of people want the perception to be acceptable, right? Or they want their reputation to be maintained. But when it's not in alignment with the truth, right, they're more inclined to just go ahead and make it look good. So like the actions and the words may not line up.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So interesting. So then I want to go back to what you were saying, Chanel, about, maybe you're okay with the truth. Because there might be sometimes where us too, where we're like, you know what, I can't speak my truth.
Yeah.
So kind of expand a little bit on what you were saying around maybe you're okay with your truth, but you're trying to, you know, make everybody else feel comfortable.
Yeah, so I can't. So the example I'm thinking about is not me. Like it's totally not me.
It's never you, right? It's
but
never me.
It makes me think about another podcast I was listening to, and they were just talking about relationships and how, people may not want to be, with one person. Maybe they want to be with multiple people, but instead of like, they live in their truth because they're doing that anyway. And maybe like what Candice said, that they're being dishonest to the other person. Like, you are being dishonest. Like, you're okay with this is what you want for your heart, but then you're not okay with speaking that truth to the people that's important to them. Like, give me a choice to say if I'm okay with this or not. So that's making me think about, sometimes we're okay with how we live in, like, it's fine with me, like, because this is what I want. But I know it's hurting everybody else, so I cannot speak that truth. I'm just going to do it deceitfully or, in the dark.
Indeed. And look, not that it's you, but
right.
the question would always be, well, then why not find somebody who can get with your truth?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the $1 million question. Why? But, there's so many people who are living that deceitful life. So.
True indeed. Have y'all ever felt like you weren't living in your truth?
No. I normally try to be, I guard my truth. Like sometimes I guard, personal things, but sometimes people, because they're not always so pretty. And so sometimes people can take that and use it against you. But I'm honest. Like if someone wants to know, I'm normally honest about it. But sometimes, yes, I'm very guarded about some truths. Like my sister, she once said, like, why is God always blessing you and you doing this and doing that? I said, because I don't lie to him and nobody. So that's the problem. A lot of people are always lying, and I say the one that matters, and I don't want to get all churchy, but the one that matters knows anyway.
The one that matters knows anyway. Okay.
So I'm honest about who I am, what I am, and what I do. And I don't try to cover it up to make it be pretty. Even with my attitude, which is, it's kind of a firecracker at times. Like I will maintain that depending on the situation, but she always there, and people know it. Like I don't want to be bougie phony person. Like my
Right.
truth is I'm from Gary, Indiana, and I will pop off.
Mm.
Like,
Okay.
and I try not to, but she always there.
Listen, don't let this fool you.
Yes.
The Gary is there.
Like she is embedded in me.
I love that.
And I think that a lot of people they try to forget. You know, I know someone, and I hope she don't watch this show.
Just don't say no names.
Okay, so this lady, wonderful person, educated, changed her name, moved and changed her name to something that sounded more appropriate, and even changed the way her dialect and the way that she sounds. And when I saw her after the name change, and when she approached me from behind, I had no idea who was coming because she had changed that much.
Wow.
And I mean, that may be her truth. That might be who she is now. But I feel like the truth of who she really is, it doesn't fit the persona of what she wants the world to see. So she made a new truth. But that's not really her. Because you know, she has there are demons, there are things inside, like, you know, depression and suicidal thoughts, just never being happy. Like, so yeah, you can change your name, change your voice, but what's really inside is the truth.
Absolutely.
So that for me, I always think about her like, girl, you don't turn back into that LA name, like just drop the LA all together.
Oh,
right. But my aunt did that too. I could say her, because you know my friend. my aunt is crazy. She dropped her LA, like she dropped that off her name because it was too urban, and changed her dialect too. But that's not your truth. You can Gary just like me. So if the Southern come out, let it come out and be who you are. And people, I think, will respect that more.
Yeah. I see that a lot. Like people changing like their names to like fit in, like mainstream themselves into something.
Well, people trying to change everything. People having all kinds of surgery,
that part,
lipos, and whatever,
all kinds of stuff.
Everybody look alike.
Yeah, they do. Everybody is starting to look alike. Yeah,
and that's painful. I don't know why, but it started coming up on my Instagram. These houses, the healing houses they have.
Okay.
And when they get out of the surgery.
Oh, like the recovery houses. Okay.
They could barely move. They basically they're climbing into a minivan to lay down because they can't sit up. Like that is painful. You got things hanging, and I mean, to each his own. To each his own. Nobody want to work out no more. but that's a lot. Like that's a lot. And you know, tax return time. Everybody.
Oh yeah, it's about to be on and popping. You hear me? Was it last year? Like the video of the airports of like all the wheelchairs and stuff.
I saw one on TikTok where it was a bunch of girls on a plane and they were like literally like punched over because they were trying not to sit on their butt and they had pillows everywhere. And the girl was like, "All these girls behind me just had BBL."
Yeah.
Like what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like pretty.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. Like it was a point where it was just like it makes you think because you see it so much. It makes you think like, okay, well maybe I could do a little this and a little that. Like let me just do a little fix in here. But then when I think about the recovery part, I'm like, I only had a baby, and that was the worst pain that I've ever been in, and I don't want to do that. Like I've never had a major surgery or anything, so I'm like, I wouldn't go through that. And then it's like the financial piece, like. I'm not going in debt for that. Like that's just didn't make sense to me. But it's crazy how, you know, like Sherry Renee said, like we have kind of these cookie cutter women and everybody's trying to look like themselves, which is like, but who are you? Like you're hiding the truth about who you really are. And I had to get out of that too, to be like, well, I'm beautiful. Like I just have to adjust to my grown woman body. Like I keep wanting to be this 14-year-old skinny slim me, but girl, you're 35. Like that body is long gone and it wasn't gonna be here anyway. Like you're a whole grown up, so get your life.
But you want it back. Like I want to fit into my size 0 pants.
Listen, those were the days.
Hold on. Let me tell y'all something real quick. Okay, Candice had 10 kids.
It looks fine. Oh my God.
If y'all put me next to her and said, who had 10 kids? Y'all would be like, I think Sherry Renee did.
It would be me. Like your body is sick.
I want my 0 pants back. So we all, I be looking at those TikToks where they say it's not always day and then they or night and they change.
Yes.
My husband was like, "What in the catfish?"
I haven't seen that one.
So okay, back to the. It's the viral. It cannot always be day.
I know the song.
Okay.
I know the song, the Kanye West song, but I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, and then they do the switch up. So some of them are transgender.
Some of them
just like
seen
doing
that.
Some of them when they had a BBL, like they do. It's the switch up.
I
have not seen that.
Yeah. But in any case, I actually read this article. This was years ago, where this man sued this woman and divorced her because she was ugly.
The Indian man.
Yeah, I think he was Asian.
Okay, maybe
he was Asian, and he won. And they were like, so I'm reading like, how could this? Like that just seems so horrible. How can you divorce somebody because they're quote unquote ugly? Like what the heck? But she had so many surgeries. And he had a baby by her, and he was like, she deceived me. I thought she was beautiful. She is not. And I'm upset that my child looks like this. Now that may sound vain, and it does.
That's
right?
Crazy.
But I think it's just the whole idea of presenting yourself as something that you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
And to what extreme are you willing to go through to put on this persona?
Yeah.
And then what does it say about how you truly feel about yourself? Right. So I too would love to have my 20-year-old body,
girl.
Right? But I can't do the surgeries. I just can't do that because I feel like I'm rejecting God's work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like literally looking at my own body, my own face, and just saying like, you know what, God, you made a mistake. This wasn't good enough. You should get better. Like I have to be like, okay, this is the body that you gave me. So how about I just respect it, work it out, drink some water, and mind my business.
In that order. Yeah.
And then too, like if I had kids, I'd be thinking like, well, what am I teaching them? You know, but I do look, people got the right to do what they want to do. So I respect everybody else's personal decision. But for me, it's more important for me to accept myself and to be honest about who I am and be truthful. But I will say that I feel like there are times when I'm not living or speaking my truth. But there are times when I see a situation, observe the situation, and then tell myself that is not the situation.
Okay. All right.
Like for example, when I am like, when I love somebody and they like, if they do me wrong, I'm like, I didn't mean it like that. That's not what that was. Or like if somebody tells me something like, such and such is really not your friend, or they not really for you, or he's not good for you, or whatever, I'd be like, y'all misunderstood. No, that is not it. Even though I could have saw the same situation happen to somebody else and be like, that ain't right. But when I'd be like, no. That's why, like, this year, that's one of my things. It's like, I'm just going to see things for what they are, period. I'm not going to put my little spin on it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to have the rose-colored glasses. I'm just going to be like, I'm just going to accept it as truth. I'm going to believe what people show.
Yeah. Because
I'm not going to believe what they say. I'm going to believe what they show.
That's it. Because that is the truth. Right. That's the truth.
The actions don't lie. You can pretend, but if you really, you can try to pretend with your actions, but only for so long.
Yeah.
I believe people when they show me who they are.
Yeah. And confusion is a no.
Yeah.
If I'm confused about who you are, then it's just a no. I just gotta go with no.
Yeah.
It's a clean no.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Easier said than done sometimes.
It
is easier said than done.
Yeah. Especially when you know it, and we posted something about this today too. Like, when you praying for things and then you ask God for the sign and he gives you the sign and you still like questioning it. So it's just like my gut is already telling me what I already know to be true. Like I need to listen to that.
God.
Right.
You probably already know.
You already know. Like you already know. That was a good example. And I think we've all been there, just really like not wanting to see what's right in front of us.
Exactly. And then be shocked.
Yeah.
When you finally decide to see it, then it's like you be shocked. Like, what? But it was always there.
Yeah.
When people show you, you have to believe them.
Absolutely. You do.
You call people a lie because they don't show you the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But see, now that's it right there. So then you upset me, right? I'm upset because I feel like I've been deceived or I've been lied to. But the truth is, it's been right there, and I've been accepting it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then it's like, are you really mad at them or are you mad at you?
Mm-hmm. Something that, so I wanted to write a book. I hope nobody steals my idea. But I wanted it to be called Plan Your Marriage and Not Your Wedding.
Yes.
And because a lot of times people, they see who they're with. They see who their husband is before they marry him.
Right.
And they still plan this beautiful wedding with a person that they know is not planned for them.
Mm.
And so I believe that people, women, because I'm on my second marriage. It's gonna be this is my last one. But people women and us, we need to focus on the marriage that God has for us. It's a real. I believe in being unevenly yoked, and some people know that they're unevenly yoked with men, but they still they think they can change it. They're planning for a change when it's right there. When somebody shows you who they are, you know who they are. Like you can't change people. So don't plan to be married and to make it better. You can't do that. So I want people to start planning their marriage more than they do their wedding.
Yeah, I will buy that book, and I'm not nowhere near marriage, but the perspective is everything. Like, yeah,
you can't change it, and when people show you their truth, believe it. Don't. When you marry somebody, even if they're not planned for you, you two become one. My pastor used to say, when you marry the wrong, you put together the wrong two eggs and try to get them apart. So now you're yoked with this negative egg that you're not supposed to be with. So why put that egg with you in the first place?
Right.
Yeah.
Good luck separating.
No, real.
You can't. Like it's always gonna be a spiritual tie. That's
absolutely.
That you don't need.
Yep. And then you're gonna do some healing work. Hopefully you come listen to our podcast because you're gonna need it.
No, that's hard though. That's hard. That's hard.
Yeah.
It's very, you have to listen. And I go back to it because I was sharing with Renee earlier about my ex-husband. How I knew when something was wrong with him. And I also knew marrying him that he was wrong for me. But I didn't listen. Like God gave me all signs, be down to the wedding.
Oh wow!
My hair fell down. My hair that was pent up, with no bobby pins, and then in one pack, just fell.
Oh my gosh!
All the curls right before I'm going to put my veil on. Food was falling. Everything it just kept falling. Like so, I think of the metaphor just falling because everything was just falling.
Wow. My
my legs, for whatever reason, could not get from being ashy.
Look, God will give you whatever sign you want.
Right. The ladies, you have your ladies in weight, they put no lotion.
Right.
Like I could not turn brown. So they was like, they went into Walgreens and got me some
Vaseline?
No, white stockings.
White stockings?
That's how ashy my legs
I'm
were.
like, not even a nice nude?
No. Baby, it would have been, it would have came straight through. No. So they put the white stockings on to try to cover up like the ash.
Oh
my
gosh.
body wasn't even accepting the marriage.
Wow.
So,
yeah, we need to. I got some questions.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Yes.
I do feel like God will give you the weirdest of signs. Was he like, well, you didn't get that one? Well, here you go. Here goes another one. I said what I said.
Yes.
So your body was rejecting lotion, and you felt like you were having metaphors of everything falling.
Everything.
And it was symbolism.
Wow.
For the marriage.
Yes. And I still, so many things were wrong. The wedding was like 2.5 hours late.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
So many things went wrong.
Now look, I wasn't at that wedding. I was at the second wedding. Okay, now that wedding right there.
Okay.
That was a perfect, impeccable wedding.
Okay.
Okay. This is the equally yoked wedding.
Yes,
we prepare for a marriage and not our wedding. So yes.
This is the equally yoked marriage that happened, and he ain't no saint, but he's close to come in and to deal with a broken woman, somebody with kids, and for him to come in and to accept that, and he got his issues too. So I knew what I was getting into, but it's different. Like it felt different. It flowed. It flowed, and like we flow into each other. So, and we really, I mean, I planned our wedding, but it was easy. I wasn't fighting against like an external force, you know. It was just
I'm so glad that you said that, because that's what I told myself too. Is that when I feel myself fighting against an external force, I'm going to surrender, because I can't do it no more. Like I have to be in the flow. Yes, I've got to be in the flow.
You lose. You really lose, and we don't listen all the
time.
And
the more that it comes against you, the harder you fight.
Yeah,
you make it worse.
You make it worse, and who are you really helping? Like that momentary satisfaction. I was married to my other husband for 4 years.
Okay,
and I feel like that 4 years caused everlasting damage on our kids, because if we would have never got married, they would have never had to see that separation. Like they would have never had to see the divorce, the fighting, and just everything that we put them through. It wasn't worth it. And so deeper than what I went through, I think about my children and what they had to witness with me and their father.
Yeah.
And then I also think about how God, you know, he always has your back. So my husband, I met him at his clinic.
Oh, cool.
And I was crazy.
What kind of clinic?
His veterinary clinic.
Yes, which is amazing. I was taking my doggy there too. So
he loves
I think Samantha took her dog there too.
Yes, yeah. And so I met him there, and when he first noticed that I didn't have my rings on anymore and wanted to call me, and he called me that night, and I told you I live in my truth. So my grandmother was alive, and he called, and I just regurgitated it all. I got 2 kids. I'm going through a divorce. I'm not in the right mental state. I told him everything. My grandma grabbed the phone like, "You must not like that man."
Granny said, "Hold on."
Granny said, "Don't tell him everything.
Right.
Keep something to yourself.
Listen, just a little bit.
Have you heard of discretion?"
You must not like him. She's like, "Now some things he ain't gonna forget." Like, well, Grandma, you know, this is who I am right now, and I don't want him to come into it blind. And I didn't know anything about him, but I felt like he was too good for me with everything I had going on. So I was still just I wanted to be honest and lay it out there so he didn't think I was hiding anything. So I finished everything I had to say, snatched the phone back from her. She's looking at me side-eyed, and he was like, "So you want to go out to eat?" I'm like, "When?"
Wow.
Like, "Right now." Okay. So he was there within 30 minutes, and we went out. And so from there, like, I knew, okay, like, this man kind of weird. He must got something going on, just crazy, because why would he want me? And he was just saying the other day that he told his tech at the time, he didn't say I was going to be his wife, but when he saw me, he said that's wifey material. So I don't know if who I was, I don't know what I did, honestly, to make him want me or like me other than be myself. Like, I came in there, he told me he living in your truth.
He was living in your truth.
I wasn't trying to impress somebody. He said I had a stain on my shirt that he remembered. Like, I'm just here. I'm here with my dog. Okay?
Wow.
So I believe in always walking in your truth. And I could have been deceitful to him and told him things was perfect. And, "Oh, yeah, I got 2 kids, but, you know, we're on good terms with Dad, or I am." It could have been different, but I gave him my truth, and I think he respected that more.
Yeah. Because he saw the things that he needed too. Like, he was like, "Okay, well, she living in her truth, and I can vibe with that." Like, that's amazing.
Maybe he saw their mother.
That's a dope story, you know. Like, you just go in with your dog, like,
That's him. It's in his veterinarian clinic owning friends.
That's a dope story. But one thing that you said that's kind of sticking out to me, and we've talked about this on our show so many times, and Sherry, Renee, and myself have talked about it, just the not feeling good enough piece of it. So that's your truth. You felt like at that point in your life, you didn't feel good enough. Why is that?
Because I did what a lot of people do. That's why they get all these BBLs, the BBWs, whatever they call them. I don't know. BBL. So little older than me, but I'm thinking like you don't have any children. You out here living your best life. He had never been married. And so I compared my life to that. I was married, going through a divorce, gonna end up with nothing. And so I thought that I wasn't comfortable. And I told him, and I told his family, because his family, his grandmother and his grandparents and things, they were very welcoming and not judgmental. And I said, I don't know if I've grown that much to have somebody, to have one of my kids that I fostered to do right, to wait to marriage, to have children, to go to school, and to be this model citizen. I don't know if I have it in me if they bring home some problems to be as accepting as they were. And they were very accepting of me and of my kids. And, I've never felt any type of way where they thought they may have, but where they thought that I wasn't good enough, they've never like showcase that. And people have a way of doing stuff. And at Granddad's 92nd birthday in September, when it was my turn to talk, I thanked them for that. And Lamar was like, no, stop. Because when I call him the golden child. And he's like, stop calling me the golden child and stop telling them thank you. That's just who they are. Okay, but I feel grateful for them for always accepting me. And so yeah, I didn't feel good enough because I was comparing myself to what he could have had and what he told me he didn't want. Like he's like, yeah, I could have had somebody with no kids and no previous husband, but that wasn't what he thought his life. Like that's not what would fulfill his life. So he ain't perfect, y'all, but he pretty good. He's pretty good. I give him that. Like he's pretty good. Welcoming to my kids, my children, my boys. Thank him all the time for what he did for them because he caught us at a low. And to take them in and to do, he overdoes it with them because he don't want them to feel any type of way for not being his biological kids. So he took them in and he's better to them than I could have ever expected. Like my children, they tell him all the time, like, you are what I know as a dad. So. And I think he does it like effortlessly. Like he jokes, like, how the kids coming with me if we divorce, right? Like we talk about all of them. I'm like, take them, go ahead, baby, take them.
They're your kids. How many children do you all have?
So I came with 2.
Okay.
And we had 8.
Okay.
So that's 10.
Nice. So really, literally 10.
Yes.
Okay.
I was not exaggerating.
Okay. It's 10 of them.
Oh wow. Okay.
Last year she was holding triplets.
Yes. Okay. I remember you telling me that. Okay.
And then immediately following,
Another one.
Another set of triplets.
No, another one.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, oh my goodness.
No.
All boys and then triple girls.
Oh.
My little Mariah.
Very cool.
Today, y'all.
Look, God said we're gonna do all the boys.
Right.
Yeah,
there we go.
It was just perfect, like it just happened, and my triplets were natural.
Wow.
So it's amazing what your body could do. Like they were all natural. They found the baby. She just popped up. At first it was twins, and then it was triplets.
It was another baby.
Yeah.
And they all made it through COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
They were in ICU for how long?
118 days.
Wow.
18 days.
118 days. And the last one she was in for 83. But the triplets, 118 days.
Oh, wow.
And they all made it.
Yeah.
Listen, look at God. And you were worthy enough. Look at what your body did.
Right.
Like,
that's what it was. My body went through a lot. I actually knew, and this is the scary part to me, I knew the third one was there.
I remember you telling me that.
Yes. I kept saying, like, something is there. Like, I feel it. Like, I just felt her. And when we would do the ultrasound, I'm like, there's something there. And they're like, oh, that's a shadow. You don't have no shadow. Ain't no light in there. So, yeah, like that ultrasound tech told me I was a shadow.
Shut up.
And so when I was looking through my phone today, looking under me and my husband's pictures that we send to each other, I saw my ultrasound. Because I started sending him the ultrasound circling. Like, something is back there. I know it is. And so when we figured out it was 3 of them, the ultrasound tech wasn't looking. She was getting ready. and had put the gel on, and I'm looking at the screen because I knew it was the day. And when she set it down, I saw that head. And I said, okay, there's a head there, or that baby is deformed. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, no, I saw two heads, or the baby is deformed. So she's like, okay. So she did what she was supposed to do. Did her complete ultrasound up here. That baby did not show back up. Like she, you know how they do the measuring and things?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm telling you, it's something there. And so she had to go in vaginally. And that's when we found it.
Wow.
So she was still able to do a complete ultrasound and only see two babies.
Wow.
And little Grace was there.
Aww.
And they, that point, because now it was trouble, we had two babies in one sack, which it happens 1 in a million times.
Whoa.
So when I say that she's 1 in a million.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean,
That's it. Literally.
Yeah, 1 in a million. So,
wow. So you have two identical twins and a fraternal.
Grace and Gloria are my
Oh, that's so cute.
Yes.
How old are they now?
They'll be 2 in March.
Oh, wow.
23 months. And our goal, we're taking them out of the country every year on their birthday.
Aww.
Just celebrate because they are miracles.
They are miracle babies.
They are little miracles.
Wow.
They were sharing. So Grace wasn't supposed to make it. Grace wasn't supposed to do anything. She wasn't supposed to walk.
What?
She's had 3 major surgeries. So she wasn't supposed to be here. And Grace is doing everything that she wasn't supposed to do. We don't know how she's going to be developmentally because she's...
Well, her name's Grace, honey.
Listen.
She's funny. Grace is hilarious. But mobility and things, she wasn't even supposed to have that. You know, we were prepared for her to be in a wheelchair.
Wow.
So for her to be walking and running and alert, we're headed in the right direction. They want us to do brain surgery. At that point, I was like, nah, we're not going to do any more surgeries. My husband supported me, you know, even though sometimes he thinks I'm a little too faith driven. I said, whatever God is going to do, God is going to do. And I didn't want them cutting on her anymore. I had already let them do it 3 times. And so it was it. I said, whatever Grace is supposed to be, she's going to be. They're not
going to live in her truth.
She's going to be Grace. Big head or not, because they were trying to reduce the size of her head. She fine. Still a little odd shape, but she fine.
She is fine. Keeping up with her sisters and everything. That is wonderful. Wow. And then you all just had a new baby?
Mariah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mariah, and that's part of my truth is my body does not want any more kids. Okay. Yeah. No more.
You like it's closed.
This is a vessel. Honey.
It's
like a factory.
That's how I feel. Like it's coming. But, no. So she came early. She came about 8 weeks early. And again, it was just knowing who you are and knowing what's going on. Like being truthful, because I had missed my doctor's appointment and I didn't feel good. And some just said, go to the doctor, reschedule. They rescheduled. I wasn't about to go, and I went, and I got admitted into the hospital. They said my blood pressure was high, and I just needed to stay there. I had to deliver her that night.
Wow.
And so she came out early, and it was unexpected for me to have to deal with the NICU again, like being in there dealing with all those nurses and things, and during the pandemic. But she stayed there because she couldn't eat without having these things called Brady's, where her heart would stop. So until she learned how to eat, because premature babies don't necessarily have that swallow reflex. So until she learned how to eat, she had to stay in the hospital. But she got out and she fine too.
Right.
We found out she's allergic to my milk. She has a milk intolerance. So yeah, so I couldn't. It was actually my milk making her like it was a reflex, an allergic reaction basically. So I had to put her on this hypoallergenic, not even milk, formula of some sort. And then she had home.
Nice.
Look at God.
Aww.
But that took away from me too, because I'm used to nursing my baby. So yeah, but it didn't happen. We still got deep freezer full of milk.
Oh wow.
Breast milk.
Wow.
Oh my. walking in your truth.
Listen here,
and maybe that was God trying to tell you, like, no, this is the husband that I have for you. So look, let me give you all these keys. Let me work some miracles. Let me do some things.
Yes, it's weird because me and my ex-husband had tried to have a girl. And so that was one of the things I told my husband when I met him. Like, you know, I can handle no kids, right? like I told him, I don't know what's going on, but I can have no more kids.
Well,
you said
you
that
told
you
him
can have no more kids.
Yes, and he said
and
that.
You had 8 after that?
I swear he would say that. Be like, you told me you could have kids. Because I did. Like, you know, I can't have no more kids. I don't know what's going on. Like, I have never used contraceptive. And so between Jeremiah and RJ, which is the first one I had with Ramard, Jeremiah's 18 and RJ's 11. So there's like a 7-year gap of nothing.
Oh,
wow. Like, no babies. That's why I was like, yeah, something wrong. I ain't got it checked out. But, you know, I'm infertile right now. Like, so, and then here come these babies. So I think God put a pause on it. Like,
he did.
You don't need no more kids with this
man. That's exactly what he did.
Wait, and here they all come.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. God was like, look, this is not who I want you to be with. So,
like, when Mara was saying that, like, yeah, she said she can have no kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I mean, it just, again, I think you really gotta connect with a person on some type of level for all of that to happen. For baby after baby to happen.
Yeah.
Especially if that's not God's plan for you. There has to be some kind of connection.
Wow. Interesting.
That's a story. Like, that is like a book right there.
And going back to not feeling good enough, because I know when you were running for president, you were sharing how you were homeless at one point. And I'm like, which was shocking to me, because I'm like, first of all, Candice is so fabulous. Okay? She is, you know, obviously she has an amazing husband, but she also has several group homes. She's a very philanthropist.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Always giving back, always, you know, like whatever you get. When Candice gives you a gift, I'll be like, don't give me one, please. Don't embarrass me. Don't embarrass me.
I heard all about your garden party and how fabulous it was.
And people were messaging me like, what venue are you at? I said, no, honey, this is her home. They're like, so they had horses and carriages and stuff? Yes, because that's how long the walk is on her property to get to the door.
Yes, I heard all about it. And I was like,
horses and carriages. Now, I felt like Cinderella coming home. I had to take the walk back to my regular life.
Lord.
But on the way coming in, you couldn't tell your girl nothing.
Not like, so you had to get back in your pumpkin.
Yes, girl, yes, I did. Okay, I said, well, let me take these shoes off because this walk is gonna be something, child.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so dope. Yeah.
But tell us, you know, like give us the history. Who is Candice Wright from very Indiana?
Yeah.
And tell us the story, the transition, the evolution, right? How did you transform into Candice Wright?
Oh, wow. I don't know. It's been quite the evolution, I think. First, my mother was a teenage mother. So I believe she had me at 16. And because of that, I think I got a little extra blessing. Because my great-grandfather, wanted my mother to finish school and didn't want her to be burdened by being a teenage parent. So he took me.
Wow.
And he raised me, and ruined me, so says my family. Because he always told me how special I was and I was going to do great things, and always pumped me up. Like, always pumped up who I was. And I think he caused a lot of grief in the family, because I can tell, like, I could put a Facebook post right now. I put up a post, it was last year, saying like, oh, you know, happy birthday in heaven to my granddad. And his daughter, who is in her 70s, wrote on there, happy birthday, Daddy, from Daddy's little girl, talking about her. Right? So it's still there, like that back and forth where he's gone, and people still have some kind of resentful feeling because of the way he treated me all these years. And to me, let it not be for him or for his daughter, who's my grandmother, I wouldn't be here. So they isolated me from everyone. And my grandmother died in 2010, right when I met Ramona. Well, I met him in 2009. Nothing started until 2010. But when she died, I felt like I lost like everything I knew because they had kept me so isolated. So my great granddaddy was gone and she was gone. But what they did for me was they did make me independent, but they always told me, no matter what anybody ever said about me, to always do what I thought God wanted me to do and just to keep going. And so I think about it, and I was just telling my husband, I think about like if it wasn't for my grandmother, I wouldn't have been able to go to college. Because I had my first son. I continued the generational curse, and I had my first son at 16. So she watched him just like my granddaddy did for my mama. She took him on, didn't want me to be burdened with being a teenage parent, wanted me to go to school. And if I didn't have her to do that, I wouldn't have been able to do so. And so it was just always, I feel like there was always some kind of angel in my corner. And one thing that they did teach me is, because there were things that happened with me and my mom, that's my mama, basically. That's your mama. Like we are here standing in, but that's your mama. And to always honor your mother. So even getting that foundation when they could have taught me to be bitter. Like they could have taught me to be hateful because bad things did happen. They never instilled that in me. And like right now, really, I talk to my husband a lot. And I was telling him, I said, I don't understand how they taught me to be so selfless when they didn't have my grandmother and my great grandfather. They didn't necessarily have the best life. And I believe that they were selfish people and they taught it to me. So my goal is to pass it on to my kids. And that's why I'm not bitter or I guess resentful to anything that happened to me in my life with my mom or with my dad or with anybody. I think, does that make sense? Like who they are and what they put in me made me who I am. And I think that's why I did so much because they were givers. Like, so I came from elders raising me up and they just taught me to be different. They taught me to work hard. They taught me to give back. They taught me to be selfless. And thus, that's who I am. And I wouldn't change it like for anything in the world. And I think of it as a blessing, not to say anything against my mother. But my sisters have very different lives. And they look at the world different. And I'm happy with my view and who I am. But that comes from my upbringing. Maybe being in a different house, I had to struggle. I've been working since I was 15. So I started out with my grandmother who got sick. And when she got sick, like it just kicked in, fight or flight. I think I was like in ninth grade or something. I started working, like I forged some paperwork because I wasn't even 15. At that time, you had to be 15 to work at McDonald's. And so I forged some paperwork, got me a work permit, and started working to help out with the bills. And my grandmother, she never really got back on her feet, but she started getting Social Security after many years, and I focused. I remember just the ethic that my grandfather instilled in me, like you gotta work, you gotta help out. It was just always a drive. And so I took care of my granny until she passed away. And I hate now, and I say it all the time, I hated that everything that she, told me about working and about being good and just all of her goodness that she put into me, I feel like she's not getting to live out the fruits of her labor because she died so soon before it really started, and so.
But maybe she was there to lay the foundation. for you. Because I mean, Granny might have had a great life before you was even born. Child.
Right.
So we don't know.
Granny was a little wild.
Right. Hey,
She was a little wild,
listen. You know Granny is Granny, but not Granny as the woman Granny.
Yeah, I heard Granny was a little wild. You know, a partier. And so, but I really wish, and I say it all the time, I really wish that she was here to reap the benefits, even of my oldest son.
Of the soul,
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a great, he's great. I take no credit for that. You know, I know when my grandmother died, he felt like his mother was dying.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I mean, he is a great kid. And then, you got my second one where I was more in his life, and this boy giving me just all kind of trouble, and so
like what?
Yeah, like what happened? But I happened because my oldest is a recreation of what my grandmother instilled in me and her parenting skills. And then my second, is me trying to figure out the way, because she died when he was 4. And so it's just me trying to figure out everything. But I wish she was here. So I was raised by my grandma. From there, I don't know. I always wanted to work hard. And you know how when people tell you what you ain't gonna be, you want to be everything that they think you ain't gonna be.
That prove them wrong.
And so from 16 on, so 16 tells you 16 and pregnant, you ain't gonna be a whole bunch of stuff, especially back in the day. They shipped me off to Lady Pitt so fast, my head was spinning.
You were in Milwaukee at this time. Oh, when did you come to Milwaukee from Gary?
1996.
Okay.
And so I was at Lady Pitt so fast, we weren't allowed at the regular school.
Oh wow! In the 90s. Okay.
Yeah, I had him 1999.
Oh wow! Okay.
Getting big, it just wasn't a good look for the school. And so when I went there, even the teachers, I had good teachers because I was always driven. Like teachers would tell me how smart I was, told me I was going to college, and I had to go to another alternative school. And when I went to that school, I was the only one at that time from that school that ever went to college.
Oh wow!
The only one. Our guidance counselor was bored back then. She was bored.
She was like, we don't get this girl.
Listen.
Yeah, like she didn't have nothing else to do. And so I think just good work ethic, and just that being instilled.
What inspired you to have so many group homes?
My grandmother. That's why it's called Granny's houses. So my granny, she used to say all the time, if I die if I get old and you put me in the nurse home, I'm gonna die the next day. She's gonna die. She's like, I'm just gonna die the next day. I said, okay. And so then I asked her eventually why. Why did you say that? And it's just the thought of people going to nursing homes being forgotten by their family or being abused.
Yeah.
And so the goal of starting up Granny's houses was to combat that. Like no abuse, you're gonna be loved. We're gonna keep close communication with your family as close as we can, or we're gonna become your family. It was just to create a different opinion of assisted living and of nursing homes. And I mean, it happened fast. It like spiraled out of control. I opened one and then another and then another. And some of my residents I've had since I've opened 11 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I've had, and actually I had them kind of before then because previously I had group homes, children group homes with my ex-husband, and I still have 2 of my kids. So they waited, and I wasn't by no means, I was just broke and defeated. Just broke and defeated. So I really wasn't even thinking about starting up anything. And I'd say, and I remember it like it was yesterday, I was laying in the bed, and I remember my grandmother yelling. Now she was gone, yelling at me like, "When you gonna get out the bed and do what you're supposed to do?" Like
she said, your assignment is calling.
Like I jumped up, like looking, like because I thought somebody was in that house. Like that's how clear it was, and so I just got to work, and here comes Granny's houses. Like and it was. When I say it was difficult because going through the divorce now, living in my truth, I made a criminal record for myself. Okay, I called a lady and him in my house.
Oh,
and
no.
so then I became I'm the aggressor. He's the victim. And so they got me a criminal record. And
really?
Yeah. Yes. It was so I came home early from work. Now, this is a house that I had for me.
Oh, wow.
So I came home early from work, really just to check my mail. And I see a car parked in the front. I'm not thinking nothing of it. So I go up to the front door to put my key in, and I had a security door. And there's a key broke off in my security door, so now you can't put your key in. I said, okay, like maybe somebody did it. So I go around to the side door. It's the key in there broke off. And when I'm at the side door, I see somebody run past. Okay. Like it just reminds me of the movie Low Down Dirty Shame, where he used to wear that long black trench coat. Yes, girl. So somebody in a long black trench coat ran past. I'm like, okay. And so then I look, and he's calling me now. Now he's in my house. And he's calling me from in there like, you better leave. This my house. Wisconsin, the marital state. Like, making fun of me. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you better leave. Wisconsin, the marital state. This my house, too. So it was a garden shovel right there. You know, one big old metal garden shovels. I'm thinking like, okay, this fool don't lock he don't lock himself in there.
In the house.
So
I you out.
Yeah. So I grabbed that garden shovel, and I don't know who I thought I was at first. So I hit this window up high and broke it, knowing I couldn't get in there. So I go around to the front, to the big picture window where I can get in with the shovel, and I broke it with the shovel. Hopped through there like a Ninja Turtle, y'all.
But hey, when you mad, you have all the strength.
Like, there is nothing that you can't do.
The anger is the strength is different on the anger.
Girl, I still don't know how I didn't get cut, but hopped through that window, went in there, tore up my house, y'all. Tore it up. I'm not gonna lie. So to this day, the lady in there was his wife.
His wife.
Wait.
His current wife.
His current wife.
Okay.
If you ask me, I still can't prove it because that's how fast I was moving. And I just know that person I made contact with that shovel. And so after that, I'm like, after I don't tore up everything, I don't hit her, I don't hit him, I went and sat on the porch and called the police on myself. Called the police.
She was like, I'm living my truth.
Now I'm living. Hey, listen.
I'm at this address.
This is address, and this is what I did. Come on, get me now.
Exactly. And so the police come, and he started not going the way that he wanted it to go. So he exaggerated it and said I pulled a gun on him. And he said, "What? Nobody in that house, y'all. Nobody." He said, "I came home and I just flipped out on him for no reason." And it was 2 men police. Yes, yeah. You think Wisconsin is a woman's state? Like they on his side. Okay, so I did have a gun on me in my car. Okay,
he knew that.
Absolutely. I have a Hummer. So when they're asking me, or I still have my Hummer, but they were like, "Ma'am, do you have a weapon on you?" I said, "I do. It's in my car." And he had already told them. He had already been trying to set me up, y'all. I was driving at one point, and I heard something when I turned the corner. So I looked at my armrest. He had put my gun in there fully loaded in my armrest. So when the police went to my car, they went to my armrest. And I said, "Oh, that's weird." But I had long found that gun and put it back how it's supposed to be transported. So when they're in the armrest looking for the gun, I said, "What are you looking for?" Yeah, he said that you put it back in the armrest. I said, "I've never touched my gun, but I can tell you where it's at, and I'll give you a key to get into it because it was locked up in the back."
Yeah, he was trying to sell that story.
So they found the gun, so they charged me. It eventually got dropped, but this fool was going to court talking about he was a victim. For one, now I can't go back to my house because when they do the restraining orders, you can't go back home. So I can't go back to my house. I had to go live with my granny. And he's going to court saying that he the victim this whole time. I knew my husband, and he was just a friend at the time. I'm just talking to him, and one day he asked me like, "What is wrong?" And I finally told him like what was going on. And he's like, you need to get a lawyer before something happens.
Yeah.
And I said, well, but I'm telling the truth. And he's like, and that's not working. So,
Right.
you need to get a lawyer.
Right.
So we got a lawyer, and he got a lawyer because I had no money. We got a lawyer, and the lawyer went through the transcripts, and there were 3 witnesses to this whole event. The lawyer interviewed the witnesses, one who was a mail carrier. And I mean, so they took her statement over everybody else's. But she said exactly what happened. I started in the back. I went in the front. Went through the window. I came
exactly as it was.
Exactly as
probably
it
had
happened.
live foot. Oh no, this is 2010. Never mind.
Listen, I mean, that mail carrier was like, let me see. Like, they probably was sitting back like, what's going on?
Told like the woman ran out, got in the black. I forgot about the black car. A woman ran out the house, got in the black car that was in front of the house, and said that I came and set my tail on that porch and did not move until the police came. And they said my Hummer was white, my gun was bright pink. They said, did she ever go bright pink? I said, did she ever go back to that car? The mail lady said, it just happened as I told you.
Oh,
she said, I didn't see a weapon until the police pulled it out of the home.
Let's go, mail lady, with all the facts.
The mail lady.
Come on, USPS coming
Girl.
through.
Girl, saved
They
my
don't deliver
life.
nothing on time.
Nothing on time ever, but they know the
But
facts.
they know the facts when they're there.
Oh my God!
Girl, saved my life.
Saved your life.
That's awesome.
Wow.
God sent you another angel.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, and here I am. I'm just like, I'm gonna fight it. I know what I did. No, remember, I was like, it ain't working, babe. Like, you need to get some help.
Yeah.
And here I am. I ain't got no money, and so lawyers calls. But it worked. And
it worked out.
He didn't come to court now one more time. And I probably should have told him. I told him. I said, it's witnesses. Like, we got witnesses now. He didn't show up. No, this was one that was there. They gave him the little victim people, the little victim advocates.
Lord.
He walking in with his little 3 attorneys.
Yes,
oh Lord, just milking it.
The most, okay,
Milking it.
Yes, and I was sitting up there. I'm the crazy one. Every time we had to go to court, I'm like, they gonna take me. I was I think I was facing a year in prison.
Really?
And like 9 months probation.
I'm like, Madam Bass.
Wow.
It was it was bad.
Wow.
It was, and it goes back. You don't listen. You want things to be something they wasn't. I never should have married that man.
And see, that's why I keep trying to tell myself, like, that's what you get.
Yes.
Right? This is what you get when you try to ignore what you're seeing with your own eyes.
You cannot. I never should have married.
You're asking for it.
Wow.
But it's funny though, because I was on the phone with Candice earlier, and her son did something, and she literally was like, "That's what you get." She started crying. She's like, "That's what you get."
That's it.
And I told her I saw this meme, and it was like, I used to think I was gonna be one of those, oh, not my poor baby type of mom, but turns out I'm one of those. That's what you get to
all the time. Listen, that's the type of mama and teacher I am. This is what you got.
What you get. And that's what I have to tell myself. I'm like, girl, that's exactly what you get because you knew better. You didn't do better.
Man,
wow. You sowed them seeds.
Listen,
now you're gonna reap.
Now they gotta reap them.
It is what it is.
That story, yours. Look, I need a book. Like, where's the autobiography? Cause wow, that man tried to take you down
from the ashes. You rise.
Absolutely.
And he did, and we are on speaking terms and pretty good right now.
Look at
God. God works it out. He works in mysterious ways. Like I was telling Sherry earlier, I said, I kind of owe his wife a gift. Yeah, I owe a gift. Like, thank you.
Listen, it's because of you I am free.
Baby, like, thank you. You need anything, boo-boo? Yeah, I'm serious. I really feel that way.
Wow,
because you wouldn't have the rest of your children.
Oh,
you wouldn't
my
have
gosh.
your husband.
I would not have my life.
The life.
You wouldn't have your life.
Yes. And
wow, you would not have your life.
I would not. It was, and y'all, she came. When she came, her eye was set on taking what I had. Like, she said it. She walked into my house to bartend for a party. And she said, like, wow, is this your house? Is this yours? Like, it's just, and I never forget. And when they got the house, okay, because they got it, because I was
in the divorce.
Well, that's another story.
Okay.
No,
She doesn't have time for that.
Right.
Listen, one
I was
story
like
here.
Tina at that divorce hearing. Okay,
Oh,
I gave it away.
you can have it all.
All
I just
wanted
want
was
my name.
I was like, all I want is my name.
All I
Put me
want is my
back.
name.
Listen
I don't want his
here.
name no more. So I gave them that. But what showed me that her eyes was always on my house and on my life, y'all, she didn't take down my pictures. Like, she took down pictures of me, but like my decorations, it looked like you was walking into my house.
Oh, she said this isn't ready to go home. I just gotta come in and I'm gonna keep it as is.
Yes.
Okay.
That is so creepy.
That is
Ain't
crazy.
it? At the time now, so I had been a part of his family for 13 years.
Mm.
So it was kind of crazy to some of them who wasn't with the mess. And even when I left, I only grabbed a couple things. Like, I grabbed some pictures, just stuff that I couldn't replace. Like, I grabbed all my purse and shoes too. But I left everything else, like the wedding dress and stuff. And I heard she had a burning ceremony.
Shut up.
Where she
She done
burned
burned your stuff up.
my wedding dress, y'all, and burnt a city of Milwaukee garbage can in the process.
Wow.
Like, just and I don't know you. So what is your truth and who are you really? Like, she still could barely look me in the eye,
Mhm.
even though I tried to be nice and tell her I have no hard feelings towards you. Like, none whatsoever. When she did what she did, it was difficult. But it happened, and I really feel like I owe her.
Mm.
Like, you took away something that wasn't meant for me, and honestly,
She might have look. Even though it hurt, it's like, look, honey, you were being used by God. I
Yes,
didn't like
you-
it
I
in the
didn't like
process.
it.
It was not fun. It was not pretty.
it was.
But look, if God said, I'm gonna rip you apart, I'm gonna unyoke you from this man
Yeah,
one way or
absolutely.
another. If you won't walk away, then I will make you walk away.
You
Well, here we
release
are.
me. Wow.
Like, they were. My grandmother died in the process. So
Oh wow.
yeah, oh yeah.
Talk about a time in
Yeah.
your life.
And that's why sometimes you gotta pay attention. Like, I think my grandmother was trying to tell me that it was bad,
Mm.
but I had so much going on that I wasn't even focused, so I missed it. And when she died, I was living with her.
Mm.
It was just crazy. I was living with my grandmother. She was on rent assistance,
Mm.
and rent assistance cut off.
Mm.
I didn't have no job because my group home that I had, him and her had ruined my name and stole it from me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they had
Really?
stole it. So I didn't have no money, nothing. I was holding on to the hope. I had did some late billing. So I was holding on to the hope of getting this last final check. And so I had redirected. Now, my ex-husband he wasn't that savvy back then. So I had redirected the check so that it could go to the post office box where I would go pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think he knew the check. Well, he had to know the check was coming, and they were waiting on it. And the mailman told them, I believe, I can't prove it, but that check had been redirected to the post office, because when I went to pick it up, they told me somebody else had already got it. Yes, girl. And so
What?
yes, I went to get the check. This was like the last pennies I had
Oh,
ever
my
thinking about
God.
coming in, because I didn't have no job. I was working for myself. So I go get the check. It's gone. I go get the check, and it's gone the day that I have to pay the final expenses on my grandmother's funeral.
Oh my God.
And like, I'm just distraught, y'all. I'm seriously distraught.
Yeah.
Like, funeral homes don't play.
They don't play.
Like, they worse
They
than
are
the
the
mafia.
mafia.
Yes, girl.
They the mafia,
Baby.
honey.
They don't play. They're like, well, she can't get dressed, can't get in her casket to get our money, and they needed the outfit. None of which I had. Okay, none of which. So
Wow.
this time I got my auntie, my grandmother's sister. And, I guess old folks, our elders, they always see something. And so Ramard had called me, and I was like, I put on my happy face. Like, yeah, he just called me on his break. Like, yeah, everything's going okay. And she did like her sister did, snatch the phone. Like, you gonna tell that man the truth? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, she telling me stop telling him too much, and you telling him
to tell him everything.
Like,
Which advice do I follow?
Right.
Like,
Who do I listen to, Granny?
crazy.
Granny, I need to sign.
Right. And so I told him, like, really what's going on. Like, he don't stole the check. I can't. I can't finish this funeral process.
Talk about truth. Like, how do you
my
share
God.
that?
I don't even know. If
Like,
I could do that.
I don't think
Oh
I
my
would have been
God.
able to share none of that. Like, I would have
Jesus.
just. I don't know. I wouldn't even answer when he called because I would have been like, bitch, I can't do this.
First
Right.
of all, I have not even accepted that this is my new life.
Right.
I have not gone to accept
Oh,
it. I'm still in
gosh.
denial.
Like, we got a
I'm
lot
trying to
going on.
bargain. Look, I'm probably trying to bargain. We got. I'm like, look, guys.
Listen
you can just fix
here.
this for the one time.
And mind you,
Jesus.
I had called him and her and asked him, I said, look, keep whatever you have. I just need this money to finish out the funeral.
Right.
And I'll never forget her in the background laughing, like, you finna get her some money? Laughing. And he hung up the phone on me.
What?
That'll do it.
The vulnerability
That'll do
that you had to have to even make that phone call as
Right.
well to say,
Because
look, I need this.
They had a whole bunch of money. Like, and I'm thinking,
Which you could have went back to your trunk and got that pretty pink gun. And
Right.
like, I
She was
said.
like, look, I already got a record now. I got
like,
Man.
I'm not thinking about playing
Well,
with
they
y'all.
lucky you didn't want revenge. You just wanted your hat. Like, give me my
Right,
money,
And
bro.
it wasn't. I wanted to bury my grandmother.
Absolutely.
And I remember I said to him, I said, my granny ain't never did nothing to you, like nothing. And so when I was talking to Lamar and I told him, he was like, can you come up here? I was like, no, right now. You know, we trying to figure this out. He's like, no, come up here. So I went up there and I got outside and I'm like, I'm here. I called him like, I'm here. And he was like, I got to go back to work, but here you go, girl. Gave me a blank check. And we're back up in that building. So
how is this not a movie? How?
And I was like,
and that is amazing because he called you because you would not have called him.
Absolutely
that I need
not.
money. He called you.
You would
and
not
you
have
wasn't
made
gonna
that
say
call.
nothing. That's why your auntie took that phone
yeah.
and said, "Look, you better start speaking your truth."
Listen
Oh my
here.
God.
Speak the truth and look at
And
what
the truth will
got
set
me.
you
It'll
free.
set you
It'll
free.
set you free.
It got my granny what she needed
Oh
for that
my
funeral.
God.
Yes.
Oh my God.
It was the truth because I don't know what the heck I was gonna go do. I had no plan. I had no idea other than continuing to ask them to give me some of that money back.
Yeah.
Right.
So that I can, do what I needed to do. And that fool, he showed up to the funeral.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he showed up. And
With the lady?
no, he wasn't that bold. But
Okay.
he showed up in the front, boo-hoo crying.
Oh my God.
When I say boo-hoo,
This is why I be like, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Do we not understand the sequence of events? Like,
See,
what is going
now
on?
when you see people fighting at funerals, like, it kind of makes sense. Like, now I gotta fight you because what we doing?
y'all, it was so much. It was so much. I didn't feel no type of way about it. I felt like, okay, he knew her for a very long time. And I felt like she was as much as his grandma as she was mine. Like I still had empathy for him, even though he had did that.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell very many people what he did. And so even at the funeral with him doing that, and I had my auntie, who we talking now, but my auntie was jealous of me and my grandmother's relationship because my grandmother raised me. The lady who was our lady in waiting, trying to make sure everything went all right, she tried to give my auntie her corsage. And she was like, oh, are you Candice's aunt? Yeah, Candice told me to give you this corsage. I was like, Candice is no one to me. Like, wow. Like it, and I will say, when y'all said I don't know who grandma was, so my grandmother, when she was passing away in the hospital, she told me to go to her house and to get this purse. So I went and got the purse, and when I brought it back, she's like, just keep it for me. I'll get it later. And so later, when she died, I'm like, I got that purse in my car. I went in the purse, and my granny had wrote this mean letter to everybody.
Grandmother.
Y'all.
Granny said, I'm sick of this.
Yes.
I'm sick of your shit and yours and yours and yours and yours.
And I told her sister, and her sister's like, you can't read that.
So you was gonna read it at the wedding?
At the funeral?
At the funeral?
That's
the
what
wedding.
she wanted.
She wanted you to read it at the funeral.
And her sister's like, you can't can't read that to nobody. She was like, don't ever tell nobody you got that.
Granny was a G, like big G. Like, first of all.
One of them, like,
Granny was kicking people out the funeral.
First of all.
And such and such, if you here, you might as well leave too.
Granny was about to eat for everybody.
And another thing.
it was, y'all, she was like,
that is crazy.
And y'all better leave Candy alone because she's the only one that ever did it. I said, oh, hell no, I never breath this to nobody. Nobody. But then I told, her messy sister and everybody, like, let me see the letter. I said, ain't no letter. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm not reading no letter. Ain't no letter. Nobody gonna see this letter. But my grandma was. I said, who would leave this as their final words? Like, who? Like, that was just ignorant. It's just plain ignorant. Like,
she didn't think she was gonna go that day.
Listen,
so she was like, you know how you got a right to vent sometimes.
Right.
Man,
and she did say, like, we're gonna read this later. Like, come on.
Yeah, like, it sent me to heaven.
But then when she saw the window for an opportunity to go to heaven, she said, don't mind.
Listen, and they probably, like, she released it on that paper and she felt at peace to make that transition. Like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I done told everybody where they can go and how they can get there. And
she did.
And we done.
I'll be done. Like this right here, lady. No, I'm not taking care of your lady. Like, no.
I love that. I love your granny because that's tight. Like, to be like, I'm about to eat there all y'all.
All of them, y'all. I mean, just plain.
He said, after label the staff and the crew, and if you down with them, then that's you too.
You're ignorant.
I love that.
Look, Tupac got that from her.
Listen, from Big G Granny. Absolutely.
Tupac got that line from her.
Thug life was written on Granny's stomach.
That's for real.
Not thug life.
That's thug life.
Granny said, I'm from Gary, Indiana.
Granny said, look, out here.
What you thought?
Wow. Listen.
Yeah, so that,
what a story.
And then after that, she probably was like singing church.
Yeah, she was praying.
And in there too, I found too. Please play these songs at my funeral. Okay, we just like bipolar moment. Okay, lady.
Right. That's funny. Look, she said, and please play Well Done, thy good and faithful servant. Oh my God, Granny is a human being. Okay, look.
Granny was a big G. Oh my God, big G.
Yeah, she had wrote out her whole service, our obituary and stuff. It was, it's poem in there. She was prepared. Yes. I wasn't prepared. Yeah. That was my truth. I was not. Like, when my grandmother died, I really felt like the breath came out of my body. Like, I've never felt like that before. I could not. Like, I passed out. I couldn't breathe. Like, I felt like my soul was gone.
Yeah.
Especially when that's all you know. Yeah. And all you know to have helped you.
And she was the one in your corner the whole time.
The whole time. You. And like, she don't
telling you can make it, you special, you can do it, and then you got a low point in your life, so you need that.
Right? You need that. Right? Needed it so bad.
Needed her to be there, and I felt like she just left. Like, you just left, and I honestly said that, like, you left and left me with all these people I don't know, I don't have no relationship with, because it was just always me and her and my kids. Even though I was married, it's just me and her and my kids. Like, I didn't really talk to my sisters like that. I didn't talk to my mother like that. My uncle, because it was always a battle with me and my grandmother's relationship. I guess because she was there. So it was just always a battle. And that's what I really told her too. I told her before she passed away, don't leave me with these folks. Like, I said, Granny, like, I don't know them. And at that moment too, that's when she said, that's your mama. Like, that's your mama. And so I live by that truth as well. That is my mother, and I will honor my mother. And I hope that me honoring her, like, will change something in her one day. Like, but my BFF, she tells me, your grandma told you that's your mama. You looking more into it. She said she told you right there with those, that's your mama. Like, that's who she is. You see who your mama is. Like, but I expect something that's not there. But I still honor her, do for her, take care of her, give her what she wants. And I still ain't getting what I think I should get out of it, but I guess I'm getting what I'm supposed to get out of it. Because the truth is the truth. The truth has been laid out, but even in that situation, I try to make it something that is not.
Yeah, I have to with my
Yeah.
especially with my dad. Like, but you know, I think I agree. You know, people have to change for themselves, right? It doesn't really. We want to see something different, especially if they say that there's somebody different, right? We want to believe that because that's what we want them to be.
Yeah.
We still love them, but at the end of the day, they have to make that decision for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, they may want to put on a facade and to keep us around, but at the end of the day, the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
And either you can accept it now or you can accept it later, but it always hurts worse when you accept it later.
Indeed.
That's true. But you know, this is the funny part. I don't think my mama try to be nobody she ain't. She don't like kids. like she don't like being around people. Like I expect different. And you know, like you a whole grandma. Like, but no, my mother is my mother. Like she ain't too much watching no kids. If she do, you better be back 2 minutes before you say you is. Like she
on time.
Like she has her stripes are the same.
But they always say that we expect ourselves from people.
Yeah,
like, we think
that's
like,
good.
Oh, maybe she spend some time with them.
You know,
yeah,
or no, anything like that. But it's like, no, that's what they said. That's what they meant, and that's what they keep doing.
That is it. You can't.
But they're gonna be with that denial again. Like we got to get to acceptance.
Yes, it is what it is.
You gotta accept
it is what it is, man.
Say yourself. Again, everybody ain't you.
Everybody is
not. Oh, that's
and
the
that's
word.
Okay.
Everybody, and that's okay.
But you know what else is sometimes we don't need them to do.
Yeah.
But we think that we do because of the title or because of the way that other people's relationships are. Like, oh, this other person, their mom, they have this amazing relationship, or their dad, or their whatever, siblings or whatever. Right. But it's like maybe that's just not what God has for you. You know?
I think something that I do. I do think I overcompensate because of the lack of, and my husband, he asks me all the time, why do you always do all this for the kids? And I have, even though it's not a good truth to me to necessarily spoil my kids because of something that I was missing, like that's the truth. Like that's why. Like, that's why my girls.
But you know what? You don't know what kind of mother you would have been if your life would have been different. So sometimes we got to learn what not to do. That's one thing that my dad definitely has taught me. And he says it all the time. He's like, sometimes you got to learn what not to do so you can get stuff right. You got to know, like some people can tell you the right thing to do, but sometimes you don't understand the why behind it. You don't have the purpose behind doing the right thing.
Yeah, especially when it comes to raising children, because there's no book that's going to teach me how to do this. So it's all trial and error from the time that they're born. And you just go and you do what you think is best at that time. And then maybe years later, you're like, nah, that wasn't it. Shouldn't have did that.
Because, I mean,
darn.
You definitely want all your children to be seen and to feel love. I remember going to a christening.
Aww.
Yes.
Right. Yes,
I do.
And I'm like, so she don't do this for each child.
Everybody's
mind you, this is before the last 4.
Okay.
So I was just like, each child has this special moment.
Everybody's getting this.
Everything that Candice does, she does it big. There's no slacking. But maybe that's because you're like, okay, I never want my child to not feel a mother's love.
Absolutely.
Because although you didn't get it from your mom, you did get it from your grandmother.
Yeah.
So you probably like, I don't want my kids to ever feel like they're not loved or they don't matter or they're not good enough.
Yeah. Like it ain't about them.
Right. Like you be like, you a big deal. You a big deal.
Absolutely.
You a big deal. Yeah. All of y'all.
Or to get that from like outside people, like, their other relatives, like you got it from yours, that people just looked at you like less than or like a second because your grandparents raised you. But it's just like, no, I am good enough. And you pour that into your children too, that I'm going to let you know how good you are. Like you so tight, you so dope, that if anybody ever tries to say that you aren't, like, you are. Like, it's okay.
Exactly. Like, you're going to be like, what?
Right, what?
I don't believe that.
Like, I don't even know those words. That's not in my vocabulary, these words. Right.
A huge deal.
Okay,
big B's.
Passports and go on this trip. Your birthday when you turn 5? No. Okay. All right. Just check. No, but seriously though, and then to your husband, because he was a foster child. Right?
Oh wow.
He was, or was he adopted?
No.
No? Okay.
No,
Look,
no.
I'm over here making up stuff.
No, girl, no. Tell him that. No. Hey, but you don't. No.
Right,
no.
wow. Like,
Okay, look, I'm like, where did I get that from? But okay,
No.
because I was gonna say too, like maybe that's like he has a heart for it. Because well, you definitely were saying that his family was very accepting.
So no, I think so with him, he overcompensates too. So his dad wasn't really present in his life, and so for his dad, he has siblings that are like a week older than him.
oh wow.
So
know about that.
and so I think, and I told him before too, because he said it before, like my kids are never gonna have to look for their daddy. So I think that he overcompensates as well. Like he does it in a different way. Like, but he's there for them. He don't believe in spoiling kids because he feel like he had to work for everything, so they should have to work for everything. So that's always a battle. Like that's always a battle with us about
it
what
looks
I'm
like
doing.
we be winning.
It's about you talk to Jeremiah, our 18-year-old, because Sean got a brand new Mercedes, and I bought Jeremiah a Jetta. I thought I was compromising, even though it's a brand new Jetta, because Jeremiah's like, no, we ain't gonna be buying Mercedes for these kids and stuff. And so I did a Jetta, but Jeremiah feels some type of way. He's like, I get good grades. Sean didn't get no good grades, and he get a Mercedes. Like, but you got a brand new Jetta. His car
I'm
had
with
3 miles.
Jeremiah. I'm just playing.
Hey, look, I'm like Benz, Jetta.
It had 3 miles, 3 miles, and then Ramar, and he's like, okay, so he still got a brand new car. So I'm compromising. It wasn't a Mercedes. It was a Jetta. It was a Jetta.
Volkswagens are nice too. I'm just saying, but I mean Benz. I mean, come
on. I think I was compromising. He was like, no, my first car was $2,000. Okay, but we not back in the 70s.
We ain't there no more now.
In the 1900s. Okay, we have moved on. We are not in the 1900s.
And he thinks that, my way of being there for them is a little extreme. Like even all of our trips, like he's gonna take the trip, but he still thinks it's a bit much. Like the trips that we do. Or maybe he doesn't and he's just using that to not seem so soft. Because we take the trips and he has to close his clinic to take them, and he take them and just be just as happy. But I do think that we both are overcompensating, but he would like for me to pull back a little bit. But I don't see the purpose, like they go to school, they do good, they're good kids. I mean, I want them to get what we didn't have.
Yeah, and that's changing the narrative too, just with Black families in general, that we should not have luxury or have nice things or, travel and do all of those things. So I do think you're changing the narrative for your kids and know that this is my life. And we're not different than nobody else, but this is just the life that we have. And that's okay. Because I think for me, sometimes like you feel bad about getting your kids, at least I do too, sometimes where I feel bad about getting JR nice things or, taking him places. But I'm like, why? Because people do this all the time. Like people who don't look like us do it all the time, and nobody questions that. But when it's little Black kids being spoiled or they're living luxurious lives where it's questioned, like you don't deserve this, but yes, I do. Like, and that's okay. If I can afford it and if I can make it happen for my kids, then this is fine.
I tell Lamar sometimes like I'm unapologetically happy about my life.
Absolutely.
And what I got. And I tell him, I say, you should start being as well.
Yeah.
Like we work hard.
Very much
it is
so.
a blessing for us to have what we have and be able to do what we can do. Like I'm unapologetic about what I do for my kids and things.
Absolutely.
He don't feel that way all the time.
I love it. I love this story. We might have had you back because I'm like, I feel like we didn't touch enough. Like it's some more. I know, right? I'm like, it's some more.
It's a lot more. It was
some more to this.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Hard work and perseverance.
Oh, that's the next episode.
And
part 2.
Yeah.
Living in
absolutely.
Yes.
That's good.
Speaking of that, we're going to do our to go back. So, Chanel, tell us what you are taking away from today's conversation.
I'm definitely taking away a lot of what I heard is just, really reflecting on the things that happened in your past, but not letting it define who you are, and building something from that. So all of these things that we go through in our lives are not just, things that hurt us or, you know, hindered us, or this trauma aspect, but look at it as stepping stones to growth. Like, what did these things teach me to make me better where I am today? So that's what I'm taking away. A lot of your story, like, you had to persevere through a lot of things, but look at you now. Like, those things that you went through, albeit they were hurtful at the time, like they did something to you, you had to heal from it, but look at where you are today. Like, that, the journey of it all is just always so amazing to me.
Candice, what are you taking away?
I am taking away the thing. Well, living in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Live who you are, because those that it matter to most, you and the Father, know what your truth is.
Yeah. Amen.
That's it.
That's it. That's all.
I'm taking away that to everything there's a season, right? And there was a time when you was down and out, child. Okay, on your last legs. Okay, literally, like, your grandmother died. You know what I mean? Like, literally gone. Didn't have the money to bury her. Your husband was cheating on you. Flipped the script on you. Married the woman that he cheated with in your house, burning your dress, and separating you.
Crazy.
Like, I mean, that's a whole lot. Okay,
a whole lot.
Crazy. Talk about a bad weekend.
Listen, craziness.
Jesus. Okay, I don't know many people that can come back from that, and then to come to where you are. So I think that the takeaway for me is that everything there is a season. And sometimes God, you know, they always say, all things work together for good for those who love the Lord, for those who are called according to His purpose. Clearly, you are purposed. Indeed. And I think that He just has a way of working it all out, because that's a bad story. It does not sound good. There's no way to sugarcoat it. It does not sound well at all. But if you keep going, right, that season will change. And now you're grateful. Like, that's what I think is so amazing. You're actually grateful. You have gratitude for this woman who essentially broke up your home. Because, like, you know what? I wasn't going to leave. Yeah. Right? I wasn't going to leave. Clearly, I wasn't, because I kept staying. Yeah. But you came in and broke it all up. And you know what? I did not like it at the time. But I am very, very grateful now. Okay? Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Yes. All of it. Very, very grateful. No, and I think that, you know, they say you got to say hallelujah now, right? Like, you got to be grateful in those moments. And a lot of times when you're down, you can't see the upside. Yeah. You know, it can be difficult to even imagine how this could ever be for your good, because it just looks all bad. Listen. Right. But look at God. And when He said that He will make your enemy your footstool. Jesus. What line? I mean, listen. I saw a post the other day, and it was like, God is not blessing you so you can stun on your haters. And then it was like, have y'all seen the Bible where it says that He will make your enemy your footstool? If that's not showboating, I don't know what is. The Father said to stunt. Okay. No. Just kidding. I thought it was funny, but I don't agree. But I thought it was comical. That's it. That is all. That's the Black people interpretation of the Bible. I do think it's about your heart position. Though, sure. Right? I think that if you try to get even with people, that's gonna be all that they get. Absolutely. I think that, you know, it says business belongs to the Lord for a reason. Look, I can never get nobody back the way that God can. Never. And if I do get you back, now I gotta pay for what exactly. I did. So now I started a whole cycle. Yep. Right? Never. I don't want to participate. So when you act ugly, act crazy, and want to do me wrong, I will leave you be. Listen. You settle your own debt. Don't even apologize to me. Apologize to God. Listen. Because you got to deal with Him, not me. Right. You need to be apologizing to God, because I'm going to pray for you. That's all I can do. And go about my life. Now, let's talk about a comeback. Yes. Talk about a turnaround. Talk about the devil for your trouble. All of that. Ooh. Talk about sowing and reaping. I mean, I don't even know. Like, look, it's a lot of things. It's a lot. But we do want to say thank you for coming. Yes, for sharing your truth. Thank you. Because a lot of times it's difficult for us to accept where we are. Like I said, for me, I'm talking about me. Because I'm like, that ain't what this is. No. I know it's plain as day, but I'm choosing not to see that right now. Yeah. But I'm hoping that our listeners will reflect on their lives, reflect on their truth, live in their truth. And if you don't like the truth, you can actually change it. That's there we go. Amazing about the truth if you do not like who you are, what you're doing, you have the ability to change it. We're not talking about surgery, but we are talking about your heart. You can change. You can say, you can choose to be different. You can choose to evolve and you can choose to grow. So thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Becky podcast. Until next time, peace.